Greetings from Woodturning with Dick. I've got this lamp. That's the wood I'm going to use to make it out of. Simple idea. I'm going to make a base for it. I'm going to keep the stem because it's got a nice flexi stem. It's a USB with a little controller for on, off and different brightnesses. I'm going to take this apart, remake this piece, and then put it all back together. This is for another project, which you'll see in the other project, but I thought I'd do a separate video because it's going to take me a little while to make it. There's my nice Mallee Burr that I'm going to use. Look at that, beautiful. Lovely colours, lovely tones to it, lovely. I do like a Mallee Burr. Let's get this stripped down. Now all I need to do is remake that with exactly those dimensions, so that fits nice and snugly. And a little retainer ring to go over the top. I can replicate that in wood, doesn't have to be metal like that. Might be a little bit fatter. Smaller hole in the middle, so this is a bit fatter. The base I want a fair bit of weight because if the light's over at an angle, don't want it toppling over. But at the same time, I need to pinch a ring out of there. And a small ring. So let's try trimming that on the bandsaw. Nice flat surface there, nice and square. Let's see if I can get something slightly thicker than this. And then I can use the remaining piece for the base. I changed my mind for the top bit. Rather than remake this, because this has got reflective insides, I think I'm just going to reuse this and implant that in the wood. I'm going to show that other side to the sander, get a nice flat surface, glue that to a block of wood and turn out that shape. Smooth off the sides, smooth off this side, smooth off the inner bit, and cut it off the lathe and hand finish the top. Simples. That's that little block cut up, and a little bit of chestnut on the back there for a sacrificial bit of wood. Going to drill my screw chuck into there, put a chuck grip on there, turn it round, shape this, hollow that out. Might use a Forstner bit just to get a nice precise cut. Sand it, finish it, cut it off the lathe, sand that top, and then I've got my surround. Lovely. For the base, I'm going to take that down to level. Try and keep as much of this surface area as I can, not too big, but I'm going to round it. Probably going to lose all of this, maybe just a little bit on the corner I might leave. Forcing a bit down through there at the back. It's the base, it's the bottom of the lamp, it's not going to be seen. And likely what I'm going to do is the forcing a bit down there so I've got a nice flat surface that's really close to the top edge, so that I can trim this down because this thread is nice and fitted. And if that's hidden away in the wood, then that can't rotate. Genius. I mean, yes, I could trim it down on the bandsaw, but where's the fun in that? You don't get to see this.
just part way through sanding, got down to 120 grit. The middle here doesn't matter. As I say, I'm putting a forstner bit up through there because that's the best way, I think, of judging the distance, because I've got to create a very small gap at the top. And rather than hand finishing the top, hell, I can do it on the lathe with a block of wood and a bit of sandpaper. So I'm going to put just a very rough, small chuck grip in here, just to hold it on when I do it round, and that'll get cut out afterwards. What I want to try and do is retain a centre hole for the forstner bit to feed down through with. I've also just realised I need a hole for the wire. I've got the feature this side. I know it's only the base of the stand, but it's just subtle things. So opposite there is about there. That turned out quite nice. I like that. The worm screw did tear out a bit, and this area here is going to be quite thin, about 3mm, when I put the forstner bit down through the back. So I am going to just take that down a little bit, get rid of that crack, get rid of that split, and then sand it. To avoid rubbing on these, just going to have a block of wood, same width of it, with the sandpaper wrapped around it, and just sand it nice, keeping it nice and even. That's my method of getting a nice flat surface without the sandpaper bobbling onto these. Wax on, wax off. Yeah, that'll do.
I used this piece of MDF to measure how deep I needed to go with the forstner bit. It was quite useful. Got down to that depth, then drilled the centre out, then tested the lamp fixing to make sure it all fitted, and then, as you saw, drilled out my Mallee Burr. Nice clean hole there at the bottom. I've just run around there with some sandpaper just to smooth that sharp edge off. It's the base again. I think this is pretty. Not you're ever going to see it because it's on there, but I will still put some little feetsies on it. We like little feetsies. They protect the surface you're putting things onto. Lovely. Now, you saw me cutting down the other one of these to create this, which is 39mm across in a 40mm hole. So that should go in there beautifully. I'm going to put some hot glue down the sides there just to hold it in place after I fitted it. Also going to use this retaining clip. I'll probably just trim that off. That came with the lamp originally. If I trim that off, then I can just put that on the inside wall here to stop anyone pulls on the wire to stop it pulling out all the way through the lamp and causing an issue. That'll be one of the last things to fit. I've kept this on here just to keep the dust off the stem really and keep it clean. Put that in the hole. Put my retaining nut on. Obviously I don't want to over tighten it, but just hand tight. Lovely. As I say, I think I'll put a couple of spots of hot glue on the sides there. Just give it a little bit more strength. That is about 3mm, that top. It's about 3mm through there. Just a bit of hot glue on there will just help strengthen it up. Looking good. All right, next job. Make a surround for that.
Central hole dug out nice and cleanly with the Forstner bit. I've run some sandpaper around there. I've stabilised the whole thing with super glue because any cracks in the thin walls are going to potentially open up when finishing. So actually I'm going to finish the outside, the very bottom of these walls and the inside before I dig it out and insert this. Just going to take down the chestnut by 1/2 inch so I can sand that cleanly without getting any white flecks into the outside of the wood there. Finished to 400 grit. While the sander sealer's drying, I'm going to drill the outside. I need an 8mm hole in the outside, but the only mildly challenging bit is getting it the right depth up the piece and away from any cracks in the wood. Okay, time for some careful measuring. Make that 48mm, 89.5. That's marked up where I want to dig. I could do it all with the parting tool, but I think I can use my very small bowl gouge to get a lot of that out. Little bit small on the middle, but I don't think it's going to make much difference. It's the bottom side of the lamp, not too important. Hole lines up perfectly. This is nice and flush with the top here. Just a little bit protruding, which almost looks professional. Good fit. Awesome. All I need to do now is part that off of there without losing it off the lathe and damaging it, and then hand finish the top. Okay, it's time for the parting. Jackpot.
Extremely pleased with the way this has turned out. I do love it when things go just right. I'm saying that now, still got to put it together. Still got to solder the LED in, reconnect it. Still got to fit this to the top of the lamp. It's nice and light. I hope it's light enough. But look how nicely this fits. There's my hole. There's my hole. It lines up perfectly. Flush. Room enough for that to squeeze in next to there. Lovely. So next job, glue that in. Not hot glue, just in case a bit of warmth comes through from this. I don't want it being on for a long time, warming up enough to melt the hot glue. So I'll probably just use some wood glue, something adhesive enough. Then pull the wires through here, attach this to the top, and solder this in, and I hope this is still in working condition. Fingers crossed for me. Once that's done, that can go back in place. The retaining ring can go on, and it will be done. We are successfully wired in. Happy with that. Let the glue dry, and then tomorrow I'll finish putting it together and show you the light. I am really pleased with the way that's turned out. Yep, happy with that. Nice amount of light as well. Dimmable. I can even change the colour. Love it.